Greetings everyone, you're welcome here. Today in this video tutorial, we will talk about switch case statement using Java NetBeans, and this is part 3 of flow of control. Now switch case statement. Switch is a multiple branch selection statement. It allows a variable or expression to be tested for equality against a list of values. So we look at the syntax. The syntax is switch, where switch is a keyword, and then within parentheses we either write a variable or an expression. Then there is a starting curly brace and an ending curly brace, and within the set of starting and the ending curly brace we give the various cases. Here case again is a keyword. We give case and then constant followed by colon, and then the block of statement which are to be executed for this case if this case statement is case constant is true. And then we give a break, then we give another case and another constant, and then a block of statements which is again followed by a break. And similarly we can give as many cases as we want, and the last one is the default. If none of the case is true, the default statement is executed. Again default is a keyword, and then we give a set of statements which need to be executed if we come to default statement. And then this is the ending curly brace. And so we look at the flow chart. Then either a variable or an expression is here in a switch statement. If expression is there, we will evaluate the expression, and then we check it for the various constant values. If it is equal to the first case, case constant 1, if this is true, then statement sequence 1 is executed, and this is followed by this path. The program control will take this path and will come after execution, it will come here. If case constant 1 does not match, that is it is false, it comes to case statement 2. If it matches, if it is true, then statement sequence 2 is executed, and our program control after executing statement sequence 2 will follow this path. You can see here. Similarly, all the case statements are executed depending upon which one is true. That particular case statement is executed, and if none of the case statement is true, then we come to the default statement. So all the statements which are written under default, they are executed if none of the case statement is true, and then our program control will jump to the next statement. So this is how switch case functions. So let's see an example of switch case. So in this case we can see here we are checking the value of num for values 1, 2, 3, 4 and any other value. So we'll write it like this: switch, which is a keyword, and then within parentheses the value of a variable or expression which we are going to test. So as we are testing the value of num here, we will write down variable num within the parentheses. Then this is followed by a curly brace, and then we will write case 1, where 1 is the first constant against which we are comparing the value of num. That is, we will compare whether num is equal to 1 or not, and if this is the case, we are assigning the value 2 to sum, and then we are writing break. Again, we are checking it for another value 2, case 2, colon, and if the value of num is equal to 2, then 4 is assigned to sum, and this is followed by break. So when it encounters a break statement, it ignores all the rest of the cases, and it comes to the statement following the switch case statement. Then again we are checking it for value 3, case 3, colon, and we are assigning the value 8 to sum if the value of num is 3, and this is followed by break. That is, after assigning the value 8 to sum, my program control will come here, the statement following the switch. And again I am checking here it for value 4, that is case 4, colon, and if this case is true, we will assign 12 to sum, and again this is followed by a break statement. And if none of the cases is true, we will come to the default statement. Default again here is a keyword, and if we will come to default statement, 0 will be assigned to sum, and there is no need to give break after default because this is the last statement. After executing this statement, my program control will come to the statement following the switch case statement. So let us see again what all is written. each value becomes a case label. So all the values for which I'm going to test this variable num, or it can be an expression also. So each value becomes a case label. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, they are all case labels. And the variable or expression being switched on is checked for each case. So we are checking the value of num. This is the variable which is being switched on. And we are checking it for each case. We are checking it for case 1, 2, 3, 4 and default also. Each case is followed by the value to be compared to, that is label. So you can see here, after case I am writing the value for which I am checking the value of num. I am comparing the value of num with, and then a colon. Now when the value of the variable being switched on is equal to the case label, the statement following the case will execute until either a break statement or end of switch case statement is reached. It means that when the value of the variable which is being switched on, it matches the value of the case label, then we execute all the statements which are followed by this case, and then all the statements written after it will be executed until either a break statement is encountered. That is, if no break is there, it will keep on executing all the statements. So it is very necessary to give the break statement after each case. Otherwise, it will sequentially execute every statement if there is no break. So break is very important, and if break is not found, then it will execute all the statement till the end of switch case statement. When the value of the variable being switched on is not equal to any of the case labels, the statement following the default case will execute. So this is, we have already discussed that if the value of num does not match any of these values which are case labels, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 in this case, so it will execute the default statement and all the statements which are written after it are executed. The default case appears at the end of the switch case and is used for performing a task when none of the case is true. So when none of the case is true, default statement is executed. There are few important points to note. The very first one is that we should not put any semicolon after the switch statement. If we put a semicolon, then switch statement is considered to end here only, and it will give us invalid cases. So these cases, they will not belong to this switch if we put a semicolon here. So remember, do not put semicolon after the switch statement. The second thing is no two cases can have the same value. You can see here, in this case I have written case 1, sum equal to 2, break. Case 1, sum equal to 3, break. So as you can see here, in both cases the label is same. In both the cases the label is 1. So this is not allowed. All the cases, they should have different labels. They cannot have same type of label. The next thing which is very important is that the constant expression for a case must be of the same data type as the variable in the switch, and it must be a constant or literal. So it means that whatever is the type of variable num, the type of the label should also be same. If it is integer, it should be integer. If num is of type character, the case label should also be of type character. And one more thing, all the case labels, they should either be constants or literals. It is very important. We cannot have a variable as a case label. So the next thing is, case labels cannot be a string or a real number. So this is very important. So if I give case 2.5, sum equal to 5. So this is an invalid statement because case label cannot be a float. The next is case Raj. Here Raj is a string. So again the label cannot be of string type. So this again is invalid. We can have only integers or characters as case label. One more thing is that the case label cannot be an expression. So you can see here I have given the case label as case 5 into 4, although it evaluates to an integer, but this is an expression and expressions are not allowed as case labels. So this is invalid. I cannot have a case label like this. So default, two things very important to note, that default and break are optional in switch case. They are not mandatory. You can miss or opt out break or default statement from the switch case statement. The expression in switch statement must either evaluate to an integer value or a character value. It cannot be a string or a real number. So please remember that it can be only an integer value or a character value. So let us see an example of switch case. The question here is to write a program to select a day number and display the corresponding weekday. So in this case, I have taken a label on which I have written select day number. Then I have taken a combo box on which numbers are written from 1 to 7. 1 is for Sunday, 2 is for Monday, 3 for Tuesday, and 4 you can see here is for Wednesday. Then this is a button click. On the click event of this button, I will do the programming coding part. So let's see how I will code for this. So in this switch statement, I am using switch statement. So in this switch statement, I am going to check the value of the index which the user is selecting. So for this, the method is get selected index. So this is the method. So I am writing j combo box 1, which is this box. This is the j combo box 1 dot get selected index. So get selected index is a method which will get the index which is selected by the user from this combo box. So depending upon the option which has been selected by the user, different messages are displayed. As you remember that the index number always starts from 0 in combo box as well as in list. So we will start with case 0 instead of 1. We cannot start with 1. So we will write down for case 0 colon j option pane dot show message dialog this comma Sunday colon semicolon break. So if this is the case 0 means if in this case we have started with index 0, but on our combo box this is number 1. So for 1 it will display Sunday. Then for case 1 colon j option pane dot show message dialog this comma Monday. Please note these double quotes because this is a string. It has to be in double quotes. Semicolon break, and break is also important because if we do not give break, it will execute all these statements following it. In case 2 colon j option pane dot show message dialog this comma Tuesday semicolon break. Then case 3 colon j option pane dot show message dialog this comma Wednesday semicolon break. Case 4 colon j option pane dot show message dialog this comma Thursday semicolon break. Case 5 colon j option pane dot show message dialog this comma Friday semicolon break. Case 6 colon j option pane dot show message dialog this comma Saturday semicolon break. So all the days have been included, and now I am writing the default statement. Default, because if none of the cases are true, suppose I have entered 8 here. So 8 is not a valid day. So it will execute the default statement and the message displayed will be j option pane dot show message dialog this comma invalid day. So the message invalid day will be displayed if we choose any number other than the assigned numbers. Now let us take one more example of switch case. In this, write a program to input an alphabet and display whether it is a vowel or a consonant. So in this case, this is the design of the screen. This is a label in which enter an alphabet has been written. Then this is a text field to input an alphabet, and then this is a button on which click is written. Now on the click of this button, this is the programming coding part. So here I have taken char ch equal to a. I am declaring a variable ch of type character, and I am assigning value a to it. You can assign any value of your choice, and you can also read from the text field. In this case, I am just assigning the value. And please remember that whenever we assign a value to a char, it should be enclosed in single quotes. Now to check whether this ch is a vowel or a consonant, I am using switch statement. Switch ch, as I am going to check the value of ch, I will write ch within the parenthesis of switch followed by curly brace. Now for case A, case E, case I, case O, case U, case small a, case small e, case small I, case small o, and case small u, you can see for all these cases I have to write vowel. So instead of writing separate statements for all these cases, this is a shortened method that for the last, after the last case, I will write down J option pane dot show message dialog this comma vowel. So this statement will execute if any of these cases will become true. So if any of these cases are true, this statement will be executed, and then it is followed by a break. So after executing this statement, my program control will come to this point. Otherwise, if this is not the case, the alphabet does not match any of these cases, then default statement will be executed, and it will display J option pane dot show message dialog this comma consonant. So you can see here, if I enter P, it will display consonant, but if I enter A, it will display vowel. So this is how you can write down the switch case statement. Now let us see the difference between if else and switch case. So very important to note that if else can check for both equality and inequality. However, switch case can check only for equality. So we can only check for equal to sign. However, in if else, we can check whether a variable is suppose greater than 0, less than 0, or greater than any particular number. We can use the symbols greater than, less than, not equal to. But in this case, we can check only for equality. If else accepts all data types. However, switch case does not accept float and double. If else can handle range of values. We can give the range greater than 20 and less than 30 suppose. But switch case label must be a single value. We cannot write case 21-30. This is not allowed. If else can test a series of expressions that may involve unrelated variables and complex expressions. However, switch case tests the value of same variable or expression against a set of constants. So in this we can have unrelated variables, but in switch case we are checking the value of same variable. Then switch case has the ability to execute more than one alternative statement by omitting the break statement. So if we omit the break statement after the case statement, so it will execute the next case also. However, this is not possible in if-else statement. So these are the differences which you must know. Now let us do a conversion from if-else to switch case. So consider the following if-else statement and convert it into switch case statement. Let us see what if-else statement is given in this question. Int num equal to 5, comma sum equal to 0. If num equal to 0 or num equal to 1, sum equal to sum plus 1. Else if num greater than equal to 2 and num less than equal to 4, sum is equal to sum plus 2. Else sum is equal to sum plus 3. So this is the if-else statement which we need to convert to switch case. So to convert it to switch case, it is always better if you make a table like this so that it becomes clear to you which statement to execute for which value. So in this case, you can see here in if statement, we are testing the value of variable num. So we just see what values of num are there. So for the value 0, you can see here the statement which is going to execute is sum equal to sum plus 1. The next, for num equal to 1, for the value 1, again the same statement is getting executed. So I have written the same expression here also. Now you can see here for values 2, 3 and 4, sum is equal to sum plus 2 is getting executed. This is what we have written here. For the value 2, sum is equal to sum plus 2. For value 3, sum is equal to sum plus 2. And for 4 also, sum is equal to sum plus 2. Else, for any other value, we are adding 3 to sum. Sum is equal to sum plus 3. So this is what I have written here. Else, sum equal to sum plus 3. Now it is clear to us that for value 0 and 1, sum is equal to sum plus 1. For 2, 3 and 4, it is sum is equal to sum plus 2. And otherwise, it is sum is equal to sum plus 3. Now everything is very clear. So it is very easy to convert it into switch now. The first statement will remain the same. Int num equal to 5, comma sum equal to 0. Then I will write switch, and as I am testing the value of num, I will write num within the parenthesis. Then this is the opening curly brace. Now you can see here for case 0 and 1, because for both these labels, we are executing the same statement. So I am writing sum equal to sum plus 1. And then I will give break. Because if I will not give break, it will execute the next statement also. So it is very important. Now for all the three cases, 2, 3 and 4, sum is equal to sum plus 2. This is what we have written. Case 2, case 3 and case 4, sum equal to sum plus 2. And then break. Very important to give break. And for the last statement, I am writing default and sum is equal to sum plus 3. So this is the switch case of this corresponding if statement. Now let us do the reverse of this, conversion from switch case to if else. So switch case statement is given to us. We have to convert it into if else if statement. So let's see what is the switch case statement. Char code equal to A within single quotes, int sum equal to 0, switch code, and within parenthesis case A, case B, sum equal to sum plus 1, break, case C, case D, sum equal to sum plus 4, case E, sum is equal to sum plus 2, break, default, sum equal to sum plus 3. So again, it is always better to make a table like this so that it becomes clear for which case which statement is executing. So we see first for A, if it is A, the value of code is A, sum equal to sum plus 1 is executing. So I have written here sum is equal to sum plus 1. Now for the next B, again the same statement is getting executed. So I have written sum equal to sum plus 1. Now for case C, it will execute sum equal to sum plus 4, and as there is no break after it, it will also execute the next statement sum equal to sum plus 2. So both these statements are executed if the value of code is C. Now for case D also, again you can see sum is equal to sum plus 4 will be executed, and as there is no break after it, the next statement sum equal to sum plus 2 will also execute. So you can see for case D, we have two statements, sum equal to sum plus 4 and sum equal to sum plus 2. And for the default, for any other case, if these cases are not true, we are adding 3 to sum equal to sum plus 3. This is what I have written, else sum is equal to sum plus 3. So now it is very clear, let us convert it into if else. So again, the first two lines will remain the same, char code equal to A, int sum equal to 0. Now you can see for the values, if the value is A as well as B, we have the same statement being executed. So we will write if code equal to A or code equal to B, sum equal to sum plus 1. And again you can see that for cases C and D, the same set of statements are getting executed. We can write down else if code equal to C or code equal to D, sum is equal to sum plus 4 and sum is equal to sum plus 2. If it is E, then only one statement is getting executed, that is sum is equal to sum plus 2. So this is what we have written, else if code equal to E, sum is equal to sum plus 2 and else sum is equal to sum plus 3. So this is how we can convert a switch case statement to break statement. It is very important to notice the break statements in switch case because that will tell you how many statements are going to get executed for each case. Now let us do one output question on switch case. Find the output of the following switch case statement. So let us read first. Int num comma sum equal to 0. Num is equal to integer dot parseInt jtext field 1 dot get text. That is, we are getting the text which is stored in jtext field 1, converting into number and then storing it into num. Now we are checking the value of num. So we are writing switch num. Case 0, sum equal to sum plus 5. Case 1, sum equal to sum plus 1, break. Case 2, sum equal to sum plus 10. Case 3, sum is equal to sum plus 20. Case 4, sum is equal to sum plus 30. Break. Default, sum is equal to sum plus 100. This is the end of switch case. And then J option pane dot show message dialog, this comma sum. So let us make a table on which value of num, what will be the value of sum. So the value of num is 0. You can see here, if it is 0, then sum is equal to sum plus 5 will be executed. But as there is no break after it, sum is equal to sum plus 1 will also be executed. And after finding break, it will stop here and it will come to this statement. So initially the value of sum was 0. So 0 plus 5 is 5. And then 5 plus 1 is 6. You can see here the value of sum is 6. The value of num is 0. Now if the value of num is 1, then we will come to this case, as this case is true. So it will come to this statement, sum equal to sum plus 1. So it will add 1 to sum and the value of sum is 0. So 0 plus 1, which is 1. And then it immediately encounters the break statement. So it will come out of the switch to this statement. You can see this statement. So the value of sum will remain 1. Now when the value of num is 2, so this statement will be executed, sum equal to sum plus 10. But as there is no break, sum is equal to sum plus 20 will also be executed. And as there is no break, sum is equal to sum plus 30 will also be executed. And then it will find break. So it will come out of switch and it will come to this statement. So initially the value of sum was 0. So 0 plus 10 is 10. 10 plus 20 is 30. And 30 plus 30 is 60. So you can see when the value of num is 2, the value of sum is 60. Now the value of num is 3. So it means this case is true. So it will execute this statement, sum equal to sum plus 20. And as there is no break, sum equal to sum plus 30 will also be executed. And after that, break statement is executed and it will come to this statement. So as the value of sum was 0, so 0 plus 20 is 20 and 20 plus 30 is 50. So for num equal to 3, the value of sum is 50. So let us suppose the value of num is 4. So in this case will become true. So it will execute this statement, sum equal to sum plus 30 and immediately break statement is encountered. So the case will break, the switch will break and it will come to this statement. So in this case, the value of sum will become 30. And suppose we have entered some other value. So let us suppose 5 has been entered. So in this case, as none of the case is true, it will come to default statement and 100 will be added to sum. As the value of sum is 0 initially, so the value of sum will now become equal to 100. And let us take one more case. Suppose I have entered a negative value, minus 10. So again, as none of the case is true, it will come to the default statement, and here again 100 will be added to sum, as the sum was previously 100. So the final value of sum will become 100. So for all any other value other than 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, the value of sum will become 100. Now let us see one more question, because output questions are very important. So see, switch dep code. This is the dep code is the variable for which we are testing. And case 1, allowance is equal to 4000, break. Case 2, allowance is equal to 3200, break. Default, allowance is equal to 1000, and this is the end of switch case. And then jtext field 1 dot set text double quotes plus allowance. So in the question it is given that dep code is 3. Let us again make a table so that it becomes clear. So if the value of dep code is 1, allowance is 4000. But if the value of dep code is 2, you can see the allowance is 3200 and it is followed by break. And for any other value of dep code other than 1 or 2, the value of allowance is 1000. So I have made a table like this. So my value of dep code is 3, as it does not match any of the cases 1 or 2. So it will go to otherwise, that is default case, and the value of allowance will be 1000. So this is how we can check the values and give the output. So this is all for this video. If you like this video, kindly give thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.